Alright, and we are going to be spawning up here in the top left-hand corner of the map. Nimbus on top of the red Zerg player representing Team Complexity is Complexity Sound Blasters, Hendralisk.
And his opponent in the upper right, coming from the clan, Chaos Latin Gamers. Gotta give it up for my boy, the blue Zerg, Jimrising.
Okay, so do any of you know if the portal, Copa America portal, is actually up to date?
I think that
I know
the
the
Copa America
Wikipedia pages.
the Copa America portal is not factoring in the points that they've earned by making it as far as they have so far. So for example, I think that getting like second place or fourth place. I think fourth place you get like 10 points. So there are guaranteed points that these players have gotten by making it this far, and that hasn't been accounted for yet on the Copa America page. But Wikipedia is accounting for those.
All right, and top 8 get through.
Zombie Girl, what number's Fear Dragon on? I don't have camera control access.
7, but it's like it's different for everyone.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna hope this works. Are you looking at Henjo's base right now, bro?
I am looking at Jimrising's base right now.
Okay, yeah, isn't that him? I'll
deal.
self-ops this one.
Good
My
deal.
vacation will have to start a little
Well,
bit
you'll have
late.
as much information as the new WCS overlay.
Well, I don't know about that. I was actually asking around, and I guess there's almost every complaint that was mentioned on stream or Reddit rather was a hotkey fix, like just toggling it on. And for whatever reason, Funka, I guess, it accidentally toggled them all off.
That was the. I know what you're talking about, but there are definitely other complaints that were not part of that. But
No, like there's some of the wireframe issues and stuff for sure. But I mean, most of the big ones were like not seeing what was inside the warp prism or the supply counts and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think
I mean, I'm personally a fan of good old-fashioned game heart, the classic.
Yeah, well, it doesn't constantly, like, he said that he puts more, what do you call it, dependence on the actual observer, which I like, you know, it sounds all well and good, but it doesn't, it's never going to beat, like, being able to tap into a stream, looking at the game heart overlay, saying, okay, that's where the game is at, and then, like, you know, tabbing back out.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually kind of funny when you think about it. Not taking a shot at Blizzard or anything, but every time ESL makes an interface, it's always like a very lacking amount of information. I mean, even the one for Copa America, the old school ESL one from like the start of Heart of the Swarm.
Oh god, I'm using the wrong overlay.
Oh, hey, speaking of overlays.
Yeah, speaking of overlays.
Oh man.
I mean, but no, seriously, even this one doesn't have that much information on it. I mean, I'm a big fan. I'm a big supporter of Game Heart Classic, and I think I'm going to keep using that one for a while. But I just realized I could actually play with the WCS one today because Fear Dragon's opposite.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what you're
man.
doing. Like, yeah, I'm using it right now, so.
I'm going to try it next.
Quick notes about what's actually been going on in the game. Jimrising going for the more normal in-base natural expansion, but he's gone for Gatsless. Whereas if you take a look at Hendralisk, he's gone for the more risky, low-ground natural expansion, and also gone for gas, and is now getting Zorgling speed up. So what do you guys think about that so far?
It's pretty risky, I mean, considering that you don't know where your opponent is or what they're doing. As you can see, they both don't have good scout information. I mean, they're about to. For sure, the links are coming across the map right now. Or I guess Jimrising does actually have information. But yeah, taking that low ground, usually it's because, you know, we would say talk about, like, creep spread, but creep spread in ZVZ is really not all that important.
I would argue that the low ground in this matchup is actually irrelevant compared to the natural in this one because you're still not going to have that 3 chamber wall. You got to spread creep one way or the other.
But you have to get your queens. Well, I mean, I guess your queens have to go up the ramp too. If you were to try and defend with those. Rifkin!
Alright, well guys, we're gonna hopefully figure out what's going on with Rifkin. His camera is also gone, so I'm gonna just assume that he's pretty much dropped out entirely. But yeah, as you were kind of saying, like, the natural expansion of Hendralisk, I feel like it shouldn't play as big of a difference. Like, it seems riskier, but the more that I think about it, like, is it really that different than going for a faster third expansion on this map?
Well, I mean, going for faster third is all types of, I mean.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. It is riskier.
I don't know. I mean, it certainly doesn't play out in this game. Maybe if it's a different situation, we'll be detailing exactly why it's a bad idea. But so far, you know, considering the queens still have to travel a very far distance, either if he takes the natural up top or on low ground, doesn't seem to make it any difference. I was thinking maybe something to do with Overlord coverage, like the Overlord wouldn't see Hendralisk as natural. But it seems to be that, yeah, Hendralisk is just kind of abusing the whole, like, if my natural is at my third, then my actual third base is a lot safer.
Yeah.
So, like, I guess that could also be, like, an argument. So it's not just creep, it's, like, actually being able to get the queens down there, spawning a queen from the natural and getting it up to the ramp as we see here. So
Yeah.
it's interesting for sure. I mean, I guess this must be the first time that we've seen it. Otherwise, we wouldn't be so like, whoa, what is this?
A couple Zerglings sacrificed from Jimrising to try and get a drone kill on Hendralisk, but he has, the thing that I have to say is going well for Jimrising is that he has full vision of everything that's going on. Like, he knows about the gas geyser that came down earlier, he knows about all 3 expansions that have been thrown down. The question is going to be, how exactly is he going to react? He's getting a double evolution chambers, and I feel like he's maybe going to try and put on a little bit of pressure, because he hasn't thrown down a third or anything yet.
I feel like he has to. I mean, we did talk about this on Friday, the ZVZs that we saw, and just how going for yield, like double upgrade, slow third off of a gases doesn't seem to really work out anymore. The very common, the very easy way to counter that is to get a faster third, which Hendralisk did, and then beat your opponent in the mid game. But that looks to be exactly what Jimrising is doing. I mean, he's getting 14 lings right now, but we just talked about how, like, the creep is already spread over there, so the queen's blocking the ramp is not going to be hard. I just don't think that Jimrising, unless he really all-ins off of this, and I mean, he already got a third, so it's not really that much of an all-in, is not going to be able to do anything to make up for the fact that his third was so much later.
I also want to note that Jimrising still has not actually started his lair tech. Hendralisk is going to be finishing up his lair tech. I feel like Hendralisk is just getting all kinds of ahead in terms of tech, economy, and everything.
Yeah.
Jimrising.
I mean, Jimrising could have gone for a Baneling Nest and maybe have been able to kill the third.
Yeah.
But he didn't, so...
Instead, he's going for, like, these 1-1 upgrades. They're not even, like, Zergling upgrades. He's going to try and make some damage happen with all these Zerglings, but is he actually going to be able to make that much happen over here? If you just take a look at the unit counting station, Hendralisk is only maybe 12-ish Zerglings behind, which can easily be made up for by the queens.
Yeah, I was doing roaches, and Jimrising actually having committed to 2 players does cancel one. It was pretty... there's no way that Jimrising is going to be able to deny this. I mean, maybe later on, as long as he keeps these lings alive, he could counterattack. But that's at a time where Hendralisk's army, just because of, like, his better economy, would be a lot bigger, I feel. I mean, we already have Hendralisk. The supplies are always inflated because just, the roaches always inflate supply. But I just feel like Hendralisk is in a much better position. And Jimrising, he was a full hatchery late. Maybe he can make up for that because the drone count is still kind of even. As Jimrising gets 5 more drones. It's exactly even.
Yeah, and right now it's going to be that really scary moment where Hendralisk, as you were saying, like, he's just going to have much better production in terms of his unit count. His roach count is already going to be a bit higher than Jimrising's, and with the addition of those Zerglings, he can easily put on a little bit of pressure and see what damage he can do. He's already killing off a good number of the Zerglings with just these roaches. Yeah.
Roach speed has finished up for Hendralisk as well as his +1. There is one thing that Jimrising, of course, has by going for the build that he did, which is double upgrades. It's kind of debatable whether, like, with only 1-1 is, like, 5 more roaches more powerful than just that 1-1. I'm sure someone would actually do the math on that one, but the point is, it seems like it never is worthwhile to have the 1-1 compared to however many more roaches you have by not getting it. And as you can see here, Jimrising already taking a kind of a bad fight. Well, maybe not, at least from behind.
Yeah, it's kind of surrounds for both sides from both players, but the Zerglings are getting cleaned up pretty quickly for Jimrising, and Hendralisk still has a lot of his roaches out. Now the defender's advantage is definitely going to be favoring Jimrising, and again, as you were saying, that 1-1 upgrades, but it just looks like overwhelming forces is going to be the big game winner today, as Hendralisk is going to be taking game number 1 in the 3rd, 4th place match.
I mean, that was kind of like a very, like, you get that game if you can and you study it, and it's just like the reason why people don't go for that build that Jimrising's been doing. We've been seeing people go for the double upgrade lings and then heavily invest into Baneling to try and kill your opponent's third, because, on the flip side, did Hendralisk ever get a Baneling Nest? I don't think he ever did, because he saw what his opponent was doing and knew that technically he didn't have to, and that's why the Gases player would get the Baneling to surprise their opponent without the Baneling. There's a lot of, like, back and forth when, like, those openings happen, but the point is, Jimrising was using the old one, and probably the more inefficient one, I would say. The lings really had to have done a lot of damage, and they obviously didn't.
Yeah. It was sort of weird how that kind of played. I feel like it was just such a straightforward game in the sense that Hendralisk just kind of got ahead, and then he went for an attack and won, right? Like, there was nothing super duper crazy. Like, there wasn't some massive amount of damage that was done with like an early game harassment or anything. There wasn't like a lot of scuffles back and forth. It was kind of just like Hendralisk got to take some risks, and they really paid off, and he won. So I don't know. Do you think that kind of affects the way that Jimrising might think about game number 2, or even?
I certainly hope so. I mean, obviously that did not work out for him. So, it was just a very straightforward game. There was no surprises that Hendralisk had to account for. He really should have been, because it is so popular not to do what Jimrising did. But no, he was perfectly fine and just getting a couple of roaches and doing good defense. I mean. I don't know. Like, you never really want to be like, oh, that pro gamer did it wrong, just straight up, because they're pro gamers for a reason.
Yeah.
They're pretty good. But I've heard from like various different like people that it's just it's not a good build unless you can get your opponents there down, because they're gonna have a much faster one.
Yeah, that definitely makes a lot of sense. Well, we may have Rifkin back on the call. Rifkin, give us a holler if you're there.
Hey.
What's up?
I don't know what's going on with the internet today. I really hope this doesn't keep up. My Skype settings are messed up too.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and get you guys set back up. And once you get your camera on, cameras on the overlay should be fixed, guys. Sorry for the kind of production issues on that end, but we are going to be jumping into game number 2. So, Rifkin, are you in the game?
No, I'm trying to get everything back on. Like, it's telling me it's patching or whatever. If you want to tell them, be like a minute.
All right, sounds good. But yeah, the next map is going to be Deadwing.
The one?
I'm wondering.
So I guess Hendralisk did. Yeah, I guess you didn't see the game because your entire internet did crap out.
Yeah.
But we were just going over. It was really basic, It wouldn't even take that long to explain it to you.
What a basic.
Yeah, Hendralisk went for a gas opener. Jimrising went for a gasless. Hendralisk got 3 fast bases. Jimrising got a much slower third, but double upgrades. And then Hendralisk attacked with a better economy and a better army and won. That's what's happened.
Yeah, I think the upgrade is just like waiting to do an attack. And like when the upgrades actually finished up, it just wasn't going to work out really well for Jimrising. I think he tried to do a little bit of early pressure with the Zerglings, but at that point, Hendralisk already kind of had the Queens and the Zerglings up to defend, and they were on like even worker counts and everything. But Hendralisk just had a 3rd expansion. Jimrising was still building his, so kind of spiraled a little bit out of control. But we'll see if either of these players actually change up their gameplay in game number 2. I'm never really sure what I think about maps in terms of ZVZ, just because in my experience, I haven't really been able to tell like any differences necessarily in the way that people like open up depending on the different maps. Sometimes you might see like some grittier plays like Hendralisk did on like a 4-player map, but I don't know. Do you guys find any big differences on those?
Wait, comparing
differences like do you look at ZVZs and see really different play on different maps?
I think you need to find better questions to ask. Just personal opinion.
Oh wow, shots
I think
fired.
you need a better towel.
These are my blankies. Thank you very much to keep me comfy in this stressed out environment.
I feel like in ZVZ the different maps actually depend entirely on like how the opening is. So that is to say the natural choke. Sorry. That opening, because if it's like an okay wall off, we do see the gasless a lot. If it's something that's going to be kind of impossible to wall off with like you need 4 Evo chambers and a hatchery or something, like it's Daedalus Point, you're probably going to see a gas opener.
Oh god, Daedalus Point. I remember that map. So okay, that actually brings up an interesting question then. We have the map Deadwing coming up. Deadwing has, in a sense, it kind of reminds me of the last map in the sense that you can take a fast 3rd expansion and still have like you can still do it, but with a wall off at that 3rd. Do you think that's something that we might see?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I'm just kind of like wondering if what Hendralisk did, if it's something that he might try and repeat, or if it was like a one-off thing. All right, well, we're gonna go ahead and jump into the map intro, guys. Don't go anywhere. Alright, I have the wrong overlay again, but don't worry about it. I fixed it for the next game. As we spawn up here in the top left-hand corner of the map, representing Chaos Latin Gamers, it is the Mexican player himself, Jimrising.
And in the bottom right, as the red Zerg, it's Complexity's Hendralisk.
So I made the mistake of turning on the WCS interface, not knowing any of these hotkeys. So I am going to be like garbage this game.
Hit F11, just make sure you don't pause the game, but should list all of them in F11.
Oh, thank you, because oh my god, I can't figure out how to turn production on. It's not D apparently.
No, so I think that there's in the WCS overlay, there's like a space bar that you have to hit to turn on the extra little tab that shows, like when you click on units and everything. Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
you hit spacebar and it turns on like battle mode or something. I'm pretty sure it was called battle mode.
It just sounds.
Okay, Ryan Shutter.
It sounds like a 12-year-old,
Ryan
like you know, like
Shooter.
card game or whatever. It's like battle mode engaged, and then you like
Oh
your
my god.
little toy transforms. Anyways.
Zombie Grub, I want you to be the voice of that game. Forget the adjutant, forget the queen. Like, I want the Zombie Grub voice back. Battle mode, engage.
Dude, I would gladly do that for
DLC.
$100.
Oh wait, yeah, exactly.
No, right? No, I would love to have an Idra. This is what I'm talking about. Like Idra, I would pay so much money to have an Idra voice pack where, like, if you played
Oh my
Protoss,
God.
it'd be like, you know, you need additional pylons, you filthy scum.
Well, it'll be cool.
What are
'cause,
you
like,
doing? You're supply blocked.
I mean, that kind of comes back to the whole like free to play versus whatever thing. But I mean, one of my favorite things is cool. For those who don't know, this is a really popular guy named Empyrean Flax, and he's got a voice pack in Dota 2. So I mean, like, if you got your favorite cast like Day 9, you know, being a voiceover thing. I mean,
Oh,
like,
how nice that would be. Your supply block, it's okay. Just build a supply depot.
Exactly.
Probes and
We'd just be like,
pylons. Probes
you
and
require
pylons.
more overlords. No, it'd be like, all right. So we're gonna just quickly go over here, select the larva. Like that would be Day 9's.
The newbie voice pack.
Oh my god, no, I could totally hear Day 9 just starting to make Zerg noises for all the different things.
Your Zerglings are under attack.
Yeah.
So what does that mean?
So cute.
Well, we don't see anything too insane quite this game. We do have Jimrising over for the gas first, but
Yeah,
you kind of talk about
so-
spawn locations, bases. Deadwing is a fickle map. I still think like you can't. This is like you can get away with a third, I suppose, but just like any other map, something like early links can shut that down pretty quick. I mean, it's totally within Hendralisk's repertoire too to be that guy who goes for the early aggression, whether it's through lings or whether it's through roaches.
Do you think he's going to, considering the fact that he's going for a gasless right now?
Well, if he is, he's gonna have to take the gas within the next minute, or else he's gonna be really late to the party. But I'm just saying, like, Jimrising, of course, doesn't fully know this, and that's, you know, part of that game, right? But the first 4 links get across the map.
So Jimrising is going for a fast Evo chamber here, and Hendralisk very might well just scout this. We of course, like, +1 carapace is what we usually would talk about, but people have been floating in like +1 melee.
You say people, I would say cats.
Right. So it is carapace, and of course this is important because if you do go for Baneling Wars, it does add, you know, you have to hit with 2 Banelings opposed to 1, and then additionally, like, even if you don't win with this build, like you do a bling attack and it doesn't win, you have an upgrade that isn't exactly useless. Like if you get roaches, +1 carapace works for that too.
Right, but look at this problem. By going for this sort of investment in the upgrades, Jimrising a supply block, is severely down in supply in general. That Overlord was really late. Like, he only just started making that, so he's going to stay supply block for quite some time. And that 100 minerals that went into that upgrade should have been that Overlord.
I think
I'm not sure it's going to be worth it. Hendralisk is apparently going to get away with going for the +1/+1.
What is this wall? Oh my god.
This is actually a pretty sick wall.
I disagree, because if you have that, what's that coming here on the left side, I actually can't select it because of the overlay.
Oh, the
But-
Rochefort?
Okay, yeah. If you have the Rochefort coming in, like, northwards, he wouldn't need that extra queen to block. There's actually 2 holes in this wall right now is the problem.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. Oh, yeah, if you'd move the Rochefort up a little bit.
Man, I am not using this overlay, not until I practice with it.
So
This is your
We did-
practice.
Look at buildings.
we had a kind of like a reversal of roles here, you know? Like Jimrising went for the gas, Hendralisk
Right.
went for the not gas. Jimrising is getting a faster third. He was unable to scout if it was fast gas or not fast gas in this case. But he saw the 2 Evo chambers at the front, which I mean is kind of a big tell. So he throws down his third. It's gonna be faster than Hendralisk, as it probably should be, but it's gonna be like that much faster. Like Hendralisk is pretty fast in his own. It's about half a hatch ahead.
Yeah, now some Zergons going to be making their way into the main base of Hendralisk. He's going to see that the lair tech is going to be really close to finish. He actually even may keep these Zergons alive long enough to see the lair tech finish up. Yeah.
Oh no, he scouted the lair. What could this possibly mean? He saw all those gases with it too. Oh me, oh my.
Well, I mean, Jimrising only just now started his lair tech.
Actually,
right?
You know what'd be sick though? I would love if Hendralisk canceled the Spire, like if he had faked this out and just went like crazy retrogression behind this. I mean, you're gonna transition into roaches afterwards, and that's why he's investing the +1 range, but the Spire is going to definitely have its place. Were Jimrising to have gone for something like crazy amounts of banlings. But, 6 to 10 mutas, they'll take care of small amounts of aggression. They'll clean up all the overlords. They're guaranteed map control. And I mean, when you're up 1 like this, it's a pretty comfy spot to be in.
Well, he's going to have to stay alive against this huge influx of speedlings coming out from Jimrising. He's only making a couple more of these speedlings behind it. Then actually, I guess he's going to go drone up behind it. So this is pretty much what he's committed to doing. He should honestly be able to get a cancel on this 3rd expansion. I don't know how Hendralisk can defend this.
Not if he lets all these links through.
Well,
drones being full, actually not bad, but I kind of wish he would have hold positioned the drones. I don't know if the DPS was needed that badly, because this opens up like the swarm, so to speak. That hole in the wall does get plugged by the spine crawler. It's just a little too late to that party. Trying to dive into that mineral line to keep that queen alive, but I mean, Hendra's roaches are soon to come. This could be problematic though, because there's 1 or 3 popping and they get instantly surrounded by the lings. They're gonna get a couple kills here, that's for sure. Third base also gonna get killed.
Oh god. Yeah, killing off the 3rd base is huge. Oh my god, he's actually focus firing down the lair tech. I mean, the Spire's already been thrown down, so it won't be that bad, but oh man.
I like the whole position on the drone too. That was really key bringing this with the roaches, but gonna lose yet another queen and a small blunder out of Hendralisk. I mean, this is nothing shy of what we see with like Protoss a lot of the time, right? When that Zealot's not in hold position in that wall. I mean, that's exactly what just happened there.
Hendralisk just took an absurd amount of damage. He's actually still amazingly enough higher on the drone count, but losing that 3rd expansion, of course, also just losing all those queens is gonna really hurt his production. And actually, losing the queens also makes it really hard to do like a big counter swing, because he's just not gonna have as much larva to spend all of his money and get out a large number of roaches or zerglings.
Well, I can't contribute a lot because I can't see much in this overlay, but Hendralisk gets down in drones. I know that much. But the nice thing is, like, despite all that damage he just took, it's really not that severe. Like 12 workers went down and that sucks, but it's 49 drones versus 55. That's something Hendralisk can easily, I feel, equal up with at least the most decent amount of Mutalisk control.
He's actually getting a lot of overlords over here. He's gonna supply block Jimrising. Jimrising has like 4 overlords on the way. I feel like he can still pick off 1 or 2 more overlords and further supply block him.
This is fairly important too, because that took away all that map vision. I mean, Jimrising had a good clear line down the middle of the map. Now it's gone.
Yeah, Hendralisk is actually doing a really good job of scouting out these overlords. There's only 1 overlord that's kind of sitting just north above his base that he hasn't really been able to get, but Mutalisk really seizing control of the map. Is that going to buy him enough time to get up this 3rd expansion, or do you guys think that he's going to be a little bit further behind?
Sound good?
I don't know. It doesn't seem like it. Right now, the supply is a 20 supply difference, but he's also banking a ton of money, so that's like easily like gonna be put into roaches and skyrocketing back up. One thing is down below, like definitely is in upgrades, but he looks to be going to infestors to try and like make up for it. And I really thought when that Ling attack happened that he would take so much more damage. I was like, yeah, when a Protoss lets like those Lings in, it seems to almost be like game over unless they immediately counterattack and move the army. But Hendralisk, like his drone count's still higher, actually. It's just the army supply that's not, and he's gonna wait till the last second to see if he can, actually like, if he doesn't even need the army because an army's not coming towards him, then just like try and get your economy back and wait and get tech. It's something else that's gonna let you back into this game.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Right now, the supply just really heavily favoring Jimrising. And I guess that's just because he has started that massive roach production. He has a pretty decent number of roaches, and as you were saying, pretty well upgraded. 42 roaches to 15 roaches. I'm kind of scared for Hendralisk, because once a couple of Hydras also get out, the Mutals are not really going to be able to chip away at those roaches. There's going to be a really scary timing that I think Jimrising is going to be able to hit once those upgrades finish.
Well, let's keep it on the Unit County station right now. I mean, Jimrising's just got this ridiculous roach lead. I mean, I'm sitting here and it's one thing to fathom like upgrades versus build order versus this versus that, but the reality is Hendralisk's 6 Mutalisks don't make up for the 40 roaches he's missing for this fight.
What is he doing with 2,000, 1,000?
Right? Like, what is he? Was he just going for some crazy muta transition? I mean, I really don't know what he's banking on
I
here.
really think he was trying to like wait till the very last second to get the roaches so that he could get
Broodlords? I mean,
I don't know, but he waited too long anyways. He saw the army move out, tried to get 26 roaches, and it's too late.
This is actually just going to be a massacre. Like, there's nothing he can really do at this point.
He's making 30 roaches now, but you're right. It is too late. His problems are going to filter in one at a time. They're going to hatch 3 at a time. Oh, Hendralisk, man, what were you doing? What were you going for? I want to know what that thought was.
The Mutals are going to be wailing away at the roaches from above, but it doesn't matter. Roaches just have too good of an upgrade armor, and they're just not going to die very quickly. At the same time, the roaches at the front of Hendralisk's natural expansion, pretty much just stopping all of Hendralisk's own roaches from coming in for the battle. And as you were saying, he's just losing them like 2 or 3 at a time. It becomes 40 roaches versus 2 roaches every like 30 seconds.
He must have been waiting for like ultras.
He had an infestation pits.
I don't think
he has his hive now.
I'm pretty sure it was going to be Broodlords, but
okay, or Broodlords. It's like he was really banking on Jimrising like never pushing out though. Then, I guess like that was one way to try and come back into the game. Like mass Spinecrawler defense. Hope that if they does push out, like you get the 40 roaches from your bank. But there was like the other way I think could have just been like. Well, no, it was Dead Wings. Never mind. I was gonna suggest like burrowed roach tactics because that that sometimes gets you back into a game. But on Dead Wing, it's pretty easy to have one overseer covering 4 paces. So
I think it was Broodlords because you also think like he had the Spire, didn't really make a lot of Mutals from it, and against the kind of composition that he was gonna be, if you're up against a bunch of roaches, like Broodlords are pretty gosh darn nice. Even if your opponent has Hydralisks, it's like Hydralisks have a really hard time getting underneath the Broodlords, right? So. I think it could have worked if he had maybe a couple more minutes, but he just played a little bit too greedy with it. Like, he wanted to make an absurd number of Broodlords as soon as that Greater Spire finished.
Oh, I messaged him to see what it was.
And
he said, it doesn't matter if you float money as long as you have larva.
What?
Kind of like, well...
I mean, Hendrils is really smart, so I don't want to disagree with him, but... I mean, that last game.
He is a smart cookie. I also don't really disagree with him, but that's questionable. Because I asked, like, Broodlords. He's like, maybe. I don't know. Silly me losing the game to not walling off. I was like, yeah, but that 2K, 1K, though. And he's... So I don't know. We'll see what he does here. I mean, it's not even a detrimental part of the series. It's not even dangerous yet for either player. It's just 2 games written off, basically. Is it best of 5 or best of 7 for semis? It's the 5, I assume.
Cool.
Let me ask. Oh, yeah, it's a best of 5.
Okay, yeah. So only the bottom finals are a best of 7, and we're gonna be seeing those later today. That's gonna be Huck versus Jon Snow. I'm really looking forward to that one. But game number 3 on the map, Foxtrot. And I'm pretty interested, like, because these guys, they've been, like, alternating. Both of them have opened up, like, gasless once and then, like, early speed once. So I'm kind of wondering, like, if they're going to, like, be switching up a lot. They haven't really shown a preference toward any particular style. Especially
I think spawn locations are really going to affect that on this map. I mean... Top left, bottom right are drastically different for what is like a weakness to speedling opener than say bottom left, top right on Foxtrot. So, while it is cross only, the question is which cross do we get?
That's fair. Yeah, and I've never seen it like play into the map at all. But like ZVZ, it's really hard to ever get those gold expansions up. I'm always kind of curious, like if a Zerg player will ever figure out how to like safely defend that gold expansion. But you get pushed so far apart from like your natural expansion and everything. It becomes such a big area you have to defend.
Yo, Solar knows.
All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and jump into the map intro, guys. Don't go anywhere. And we are spawning down here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map atop the Chaos Latin Gamers player from Mexico. It is Jimrising.
And his opponent, red like the Canadian flag, it is Complexity's red Zerg player, Hendralisk. But yeah, so we end up getting top right, bottom left spawns, which honestly makes Foxtrot, I would say, none too different than your average map, but this is a little bit different.
Well, Jimrising,
guys, quick, call it.
purple.
Gas, no gas. Go, go, go.
Gas.
I'm saying no gas. Okay, we'll see.
Actually, hold on. He may still cancel it, right? Might be an extractor trick.
Yeah.
No, that's probably actual gas.
I don't know.
Trick.
Second one
You're
going
right.
down.
Nailed it.
Extractor trick.
Nailed it. So no gas in
Oh.
your faces. I was right no matter what. Ha! I'm actually, you know what?
Doesn't work.
Hang on, all jokes aside, I don't know if he'd go for this, but Suppy beat Solar and won one of... Suppy is one of only 2 North American players who's ever won a Zotac Cup, and he did it with back-to-back, like, 10-pull Spinecrawler rushes.
Oh,
So, I mean, and that's against Samsung Galaxy Solar. But it looks like Jimrising's not going for that. He's just going to go for the Speedlings. So to talk about this a little bit, I mean, a 10-pull without gas is oddly one of the most, like, I'd say, economically savvy cheeses you can go with as far as early pulls, depending on how much you dedicate to this.
Well,
but when you put
Hendralisk
that
is going
gas
for a
down,
hatch
when you
first, right? So, like, he's going to be able to do good
it's not that
damage,
big
even
of
if
a
it is
deal.
economic.
No, I don't think so. Not unless you were to do something really dumb like a 3 hatch 4 pull. Because the thing is, you can stack drones, you get that queen out. Drones themselves, in the worst case scenario, can fight against the lings if microed correctly. I mean, I guess there's a lot of what ifs with this. Like, what if this guy does this? What if someone responds with that? I think that as long as Hendrix doesn't freak out, he should be fine. This is really not something. I mean, a 10 pull, no gas, no banelings, no speed. Ooh, spooky.
Yeah, I think Hendralisk is realizing what's going on.
Well, now he definitely.
Yeah. Now he sees the Zerglings, of course.
Yeah. Well, the problem right now, he actually hit at a very awkward timing. So, Hendrix might still be able to save it. Yeah, I actually pull the drones. You know, if this hatcher was any later, he would probably just like wait till the last second to try and cancel it. But it having finished, he had to make a very risky decision, which was either pull the drones, let it die, or hope that the lings pop out just in time to save it. So this actually becomes a little more awkward. As you can see, he's trying to be very careful with how he uses these drones. He's going to just lose like 5 because he wasn't paying attention. Just figured A moving was going to be all right.
Yeah, and I
Good
think
control so far, though.
it's important to know, like, what you were talking about, Rifkin, where this is actually not that bad economically for Jimrising. You can see he's already actually surpassed Hendralisk in terms of that drone count, and he has a relatively even number of Zerglings, so if he can even kill off a couple of more drones, like 1 or 2 more drones, he's going to be in a really nice position.
Well, you gotta keep in mind, too, if this keeps going the way it is and Hendrix keeps picking off 1 ling at a time, this snowballs to the point where Hendrix is gonna go for that counterattack, and Jimrising might have more drones, but that doesn't mean it's a good thing.
The counterattack is never going to be very scary because Hendrix didn't get speed. So, like, slow lane counterattack, I mean, yeah, it can still be scary because, you know, Jimrising also didn't get gas. It's just, you know, it would be something that Hendralisk had to dedicate to without knowing what's behind this. He saw a hatchery, so maybe, you know, he's a pro gamer. Maybe he can be like, okay, by that hatchery timing, he doesn't have gas behind this, but it is just, you know, a scary assumption to make, sending your slow lings out like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Jimrising has lost a lot of those Zerglings, and now Hendralisk moving across.
Like all of them?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like he didn't kill off almost any of Hendralisk's Zerglings, and this isn't a map that you can easily do that wall off on. His natural expansion is going to be pretty exposed.
Yeah, Jimrising realizing this counterattack is happening. Even he had Overlord's in position to see this. It's just, well, I guess the larva isn't there right now. He's supply blocked as well. I guess that Queen got an Overlord.
Oh, God.
This might be enough to deal a lot of damage. I mean, he's going to walk past the Queens. Oh, no, he's going to take the Queen down.
I mean, if he kills off the Queens, he's also going to hurt the larva production and everything and make it easier for more Zerglings that could stream out to do damage. But actually, no, Hendralisk is just droning up behind this.
I really feel like he should have pulled those drones into it a lot earlier. Maybe would have saved that second Queen.
And if nothing else, like a hold position. I mean, not even on a lot with the positioning of that Queen, like 1 or 2 hold position drones would have been sick. But comes back looking for kill on the Queen. Don't know if I get it. There's a lot of lings here for Jim.
Yeah, and now Hendralisk is, well, he's a little bit ahead of Jimrising. They're both droning up right now. The ling aggression, the slow ling aggression is over. They both went for a gases opener, and they should be going up to roaches. Or actually, Jimrising goes for speed. I wonder if he's gonna do a follow-up all in.
Oh, with like a Baneley nest or something?
Yeah, with the Banelings, it's like, why else would you get speed unless you thought they were gonna get a fast third. Which, I mean, it might be a case. If Hendralisk tries to get a fast third, Speedlings would be pretty good at just sniping it. Whether or not there are roaches out, as long as there aren't Banelings, Speedlings can snipe thirds.
Yeah, especially with the Baneling Nest now going down, Evolution Chamber also going up. He's getting a decent scout off to see what exactly Hendralisk is up to. Gets a Zergling into the main base, but he gets picked off before it can see anything else. Hendralisk also getting up the speed and a Roach Warren instead, so going to be foregoing the Baneling Nest.
Yeah. Well, I guess they're both getting speed then. I mean, I feel like it is the better way to play. It is 100-100, and in like tight game scenarios, maybe it's not worth it. But just like with the rise of sneaky builds where you do get speed when you think your opponent didn't get speed, I don't know. Getting it just seems like the safer bet. And Hendralisk also does expand. Looks like Jimrising was trying to.
Yeah, a couple Zerglings actually scouting over here for Hendralisk, seeing that Jimrising is going for that third expansion. He's going to be able to kill off the drone. Yeah, he does kill off the drone, actually. And a nice little win over there for Hendralisk. Just delaying that third a little bit longer, but both these players should know.
I think Jimrising has a good opportunity to try and cancel this third. He's getting 18 lings right now, and even though Hendralisk is getting 10 roaches, they got to be in position, and yeah, well, they just got to be in position. He might be, though.
I don't know. There's a lot of roaches out for Hendralisk. I kind of see what you're saying, though. I feel like the roaches are either going to be able to defend this third expansion, or they're going to be able to defend like the natural and main. Like they aren't going to be able to be in large enough numbers to defend both.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, one of the big things. Well, okay, hang on, hold that thought. Here comes all those lings.
Yeah, just get the cancel on the third. Because with the full wraparound, even with 10 roaches, you can't stop the DPS.
I can't, but I mean, even with the delay on this third, it's not that drastic. I mean, if anything, it helps a little, but the problem is Jimrising, like, it's like
roaches.
Last game for Hendralisk, right? Like, yeah, he'll have like 2 roaches to Hendralisk's 30. He'll get on top of the production. He'll camp that out. Might be wasting a little bit of time with the links in the middle of the map. This is to make sure that there's no counterattack behind this.
He's gonna get through his own third. So while that third cancel was like cool and everything, it just definitely wasn't enough. Hendralisk just says, well, all right, then let me counterattack. Even if this gets canceled again, the army can't be dealt with.
Oh, actually, hold on, forget the roaches. Lings get ahead of the party, and they an interesting little nook that Jimrising set up. I think Spinecores were meant to go down there if this had been a continued Ling aggression, but yeah, this is not looking so good for Jim. His supply is starting to pick up at this point, but Hendralisk is able to force a fight around the Roach Warren. That's the most dangerous thing, because if Jim tries to cut him back, Hendralisk is like, okay, I'll just shoot the Roach Warren instead.
Well, he does manage to get out of there and out of that choke, so he's going to be able to push in and ideally be able to defend this third expansion. There's not a whole lot of like reinforcements coming in for Hendralisk. In fact, he's just retreating with everything. But there was actually also a Zergling run by into Hendralisk's main base. He managed to do a little bit of damage, kind of weaken up the queen and stuff, but not able to do any kind of big damage.
Oh, Unit County Station still 25 over 19. So Jim's kind of helped bridge this gap a little bit. But I mean, what's interesting is that Burrow Tech.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. There's an overseer in play. I was gonna say this could be really annoying to deal with, but never mind. Never mind.
Well, it also depends on where the overseer is, right?
Yeah, that's true. It's not going to be helpful in the main engagement because you usually have an overseer with your army, but if he splits off, and this is a pretty good map to do that. He split off 5 roaches and some to the main, some to the natural. Obviously, that's pretty darn effective, but you could also just take a straight up engagement and maybe win the game.
Yeah, actually, that's going to be a clear-cut victory.
Yeah, I mean,
a little bit anticlimactic, but kind of exactly to be expected.
The game didn't open up as Jimrising would have wanted. I mean, even though 10 pool no gas is the more economical cheese you could do, the fact that you didn't get anything from it is obviously very bad.
That was really awkward too, because Jim's like, we often refer to him King of Lings. Like all these jokes aside, like when we cast him, he does fantastic things with Lings, but
there was one point where it was almost scary, and that's when the drones were pulled. But I've seen like a couple of players, like pro gamers too, mess up that drone pool. They pull the drone, try and save the hatchery, and their lings are like oddly timed, so the drones attack without the lings, and then like 7-10 drones, and we're like, what the heck? Like, why did that happen? But Hendralisk was perfectly calm, defended really well.
Yeah, now going to be going up 2-0, or sorry, 2-1.
2-1.
So
yeah.
One game away from victory and that $200 prize for third place. Should be interesting to see how the next game goes, but it's kind of interesting how both of these players kind of just keep trading off whatever builds they were doing. Like game 1, I think it was Hendralisk that went for like the gas opening and went for like the fast third expansion and everything. And then I think you were saying Zombie Grub, like Jimrising went for the gasless like 2 base and kind of was slower to transition and everything. But game 2 was like the exact opposite. But then later on in the game, Jimrising had like not that many roaches. No, sorry, it was Hendralisk that didn't have that many roaches. And then Jimrising just had an enormous number of roaches, and kind of like the reverse just happened over here. Mm. So they just keep swapping back and forth between what they're doing. Alright, well, hopefully we'll figure out what the next map... Do we know what the next map is?
It's overgrowth.
Yeah.
Get your bum in here on Real ID, sir. Yeah. There you go.
But yeah, another Zerg versus Zerg on the map, Overgrowth. I kind of feel like Hendralisk was sort of the favorite coming into this. Like, Hendralisk had a really good history, especially in like Zerg versus Zerg, having beaten players like Impact, having beaten players like Scarlet back in the day. I think you guys were talking about it earlier, like how Hendralisk hasn't necessarily been doing as well lately. But this would actually be a really, really nice win for Jimrising. He was able to come back in this series, because Hendralisk is a really solid player.
He's more well-known.
Yeah.
Sure. And that is kind of cool that Copa America is giving platforms for...
South American...
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to go with Latin gamers, because it's Chaos Latin gamers.
Oh,
but anyways. Yeah. Yeah, that, you know, if they do win, it's really awesome, but Hendralisk is not looking as off form as Friday, yeah.
Well, I mean, it was mentioned too, like that one game with the run by. Like, yeah, he died with the bank, but I guess he was so focused on the run by that's what really caught him at the end. So I mean, it's gonna take more than Jimrising to get luck to win, but yo, that intro though.
All right, guys, we're gonna go to the map intro. We'll see you guys in a little bit. Spawning down here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map until the red Zerg player representing Team Complexity. It is the Canadian Hendralisk, up 2-1.
And the right as the blue Zerg, it's Chaos Latin Gamers, Jimrising.
Woo! For both.
Yeah, awesome. Okay. Yeah, so I guess it is important to note that the one game that Jimrising did win was kind of lucky.
Yeah.
So you could say overall Hendralisk has been looking just the stronger in this matchup, but...
Did Hendralisk just cancel?
Whoa. Yeah, it sounded like it. I didn't actually see it, but I heard the sound.
Okay, well...
Well, he goes for the temple himself, but Hendralisk's playstyle kind of lends more towards expecting gas to be with this. I don't imagine he'll do the same thing unless he's being really cheeky and he's like, let me show you how gasless temple is supposed to go.
Oh god. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, well, it actually does the double extractor trick, so.
Well, the question on my mind is whether or not Jimrising is going to be getting up a gas geyser as well. Oh, actually, it looks like he's just going straight for the spawning pool. I was thinking that maybe just because I feel like both of these players have always gone for the hatch first, we'd see another hatch first out of Jimrising, but no, going for the spawning pool this time.
Okay, alright. So... I wonder how this is going to time up, right? Because Hendralisk hit a patch first, I believe, on Foxtrot, and it completed when Jimrising's lanes got there. This time, with the hatch going down now, I don't think the hatch is actually going to be completed, and now it's almost like more awkward because he went for a pool first. We usually would think a pool first is like the best thing you could do against a cheese. Mm-hmm. It's like, do you defend the hatch or do you let it be canceled? Does Hendralisk go straight for the hatch or does he try and get drone kills?
Sometimes the bait of that hatchery ends up being like way better than having gone for like earlier lings or something, because you still can't fight that until your numbers are up. And oftentimes you've been caught, like, say, droning while this is going on because you didn't know it was coming.
Yeah, well, we're only going to see 8 Zerglings coming out from Hendralisk, so Jimrising, he's getting up a spine crawler. Okay, he cancels the spine crawler.
Oh, he didn't see the... I guess he didn't see the hatchery until just now. I'm not sure, or I don't know, but the point is he does cancel it, and he has 4 lings on the way. He is going to pull his own drones. I don't think he should lose his hatchery. But I say that, but maybe this is the time when the drones start dying. He's starting to, he's gonna just take on this fight.
Ooh, nice hold position, Micro.
I disagree actually. Unlike what happened here with Hendralisk, when Hendralisk did this himself, one thing he did was it was very active and there was no actual fight. He was waiting for the fight until the queen was going to be out. So posturing and swiping, but not really dedicating, I guess. So Jimrising ends up being a little bit behind here on the drones. His 4 did die, and Hendralisk actually keeps these lings alive.
Yeah. So his hatchery is really not that all that far behind. His drone count is technically ahead. The only thing that he's really missing is a slight larva production increase, but it's like really slight. So.
All right. Well, Jimrising gonna see exactly what Hendralisk has been up to while this aggression has been put on. Gonna have to back up after seeing the queen.
I feel like this is what a 10 pool gas is supposed to feel like, whereas like so like not fitted, like okay, so maybe something, but it's so slight, big deal. That last game, Jimrising just felt like
it was awkward. It was all sorts of awkward penguin. I mean, just running around the base with like 8 lings until they all died for free. I mean,
it was, and this feels like okay, you open up with that, no big deal. You got a little ahead because you killed some drones, and then we go into a normal game. That's what it should be. And it is a normal game. So we got one player going for double gas. Hendralisk just getting 1. Or had gotten 1, I guess is the correct way.
Yeah. He's also going to be getting up the Zergling speed, whereas Jimrising kind of delaying it a little bit longer, getting up the 2 gas geysers, and I imagine is going to get a slower Zergling speed, but...
If he does. I mean, we've seen both players be pretty mindful about getting speed every single game, I think, no matter what their opener. But there is always a chance that a player forgoes that because they think that their roaches are going to be enough to deal with anything that comes. It's Rifkin, isn't it?
Oh dear. No, please no.
It's bombs!
Ah,
we're bombs.
safe.
Well, I mean, okay, so here's the thing, right? The 100 gas, 100 minerals you put into that speed, if that cancels a hatchery at the 3rd even once, that's monumentally worth it. And that's what speedlings really lend themselves to more than anything else. But I think beyond this, one of the things to consider here is, okay, Hendralisk does start his own 3rd, but Jim, I don't know. It just feels like all these builds he's going for, like Zombie Grub and I have cast Jimrising enough, not like super frequent, but enough to kind of say like, I kind of feel like he's off his game a little bit.
Doesn't see him, I mean, what did we cast of him Friday? We cast him versus Desro, right?
Yeah. Or maybe I guess me, because I've done a lot of them through WCS America qualifiers.
Well, I'm just thinking of the matchups, Some people have worse matchups than others, and I can't remember if we cast the ZVZ lately or what. But yeah, it doesn't seem nearly as like, like the aggression isn't working when he is aggressive, and he's not aggressive otherwise.
Yeah, he actually just ended up losing like 8 Zerglings, I think, for 1 or something. Obviously, Zergling speed helping out quite a bit, but really nice micro over there from Hendralisk. And now Jimrising is kind of contained to 2 bases.
Hendralisk is just gonna try and bust him here. I mean, Jimrising scouted that he was gonna try to get a 4th or a 3rd rather, and well, it doesn't really seem to matter. He's gonna be counterattacked.
Hendralisk is just kind of pushing on aggression with these Zerglings. Does he actually need to? Well, just the Banelings are getting in now, and oh god, this is really awkward.
These Banelings are gonna be way better off going
finally.
off on Zerglings instead of say drones, but
for that speed to
a pretty
finish,
good job.
finally did. Yeah, that wasn't actually that bad. I mean, still, there's a big problem that Hendralisk got a 3rd up so fast, and now it's not a case where like Hendralisk doesn't have like lings or banelings. He can have those. So Jimrising's counterattack shouldn't do anything.
Well, Hendralisk doesn't have any larva right now, and he doesn't have any units. Like, there's actually 0 Zerglings on the map.
Should he really be able to get this 3rd though? 10 lings are on the way.
Queen's not in the mineral lines. This is also gonna go down here. Small mistakes being made right now, but I mean, this compounds off the back into something really, I think, problematic. Where he just got a little bit greedy. He went for the drones with those banelings in that one big attack, and then he got hesitant and pulled them back into the lings afterwards. I kind of feel like if he had dedicated just to zoning the lings, half of these ones that are here on this side of the map would never have existed.
Oh my god, he's buying so much time right now.
Yeah, he is. And with banelings, you can't just like click on that hatchery and hope that DPS works out. Banelings would be so much more careful.
Oh my god, he definitely just bought himself enough time to save that 3rd expansion. I did not expect him to save that.
It was it was scary. It certainly was.
Impressive hold, but it was banelings versus no banelings, and Jimrising is starting to get his own banelings in this. And he's got +1 carapace, so he can start soaking some of these hits a lot better, a lot more effective than he has been.
Okay.
Still, I mean, yeah, they would have like 1 health, but still they wouldn't be dead. But 2 banelings still traded for 2 banelings. So both gonna equalize out here.
Oh, a counterattack also from Hendralisk. There aren't any banelings on the side of the field, but Jimrising did he sent some lurings back, but they're fighting apart from each other, so both groups die. Now the third is up for grabs.
That roach, though, it doesn't matter. What's that hole on the left side? Are you serious, Hendralisk? What the hell is this building placement?
Oh my god.
Oh, and the banelings hit like 1 ling each.
But here's the thing, like Hendralisk will hold it home, and he's gonna kill his opponent's third. And Jimrising loses his third unless he kills 20 plus drones, is gonna be behind.
Yeah, it really does come to like 20 plus too, and in fact, he doesn't kill nearly that many. None. Yeah, great. We're missing a 2 in front of that 0.
Well, this is going to be a little bit problematic for Jimrising, because not only has he lost his third, not only has all of that other stuff happened, but now he has to deal with roaches. And he does, oh, he has a couple of roaches out, 10 roaches, but he's still outnumbered.
Yeah, this isn't looking too hot here for Jim. On top of the roach numbers itself, Hendralisk just has a clear supply lead. I mean, where Hendralisk lacks supply, Jim wins and upgrades, but we've always said on a cast, like, what good is having +3 if only like 10 units benefit from it, right?
Mm-hmm. Said that when you lagged out that first game, actually.
Oh, nice.
Hey. All right, Jimrising is gonna try and hold here. Unfortunately, like by taking a fight over here, he doesn't have queens. He doesn't have drones to pull into this either. But it looks like he will win it. Yeah. Yes.
Oh wow.
Yes.
That's actually a really impressive hold. I thought that was going to go massively here in the favor of Hendralisk, but I guess that 1-1 really starting to work out nicely. So more than 10 units, more than 10 roaches. That's the key thing. Hendralisk starting his own upgrades behind this. His speed's a little bit faster than that of Jim's, but I think a lot of this still just boils down to the fact that Hendralisk has a third up, and regardless of what he just lost, he could afford to lose it. Jim can't.
Yeah, he's also up by now in drones.
Well, there's still going to be a nice little time where Jimrising has a decent number of roaches on the other side of the map, and he may be able to push in and do a little bit of damage over here, maybe?
I like the split. The split's the better choice. What he's done here, trying to segment some roaches to the main. Actually, oh no, sorry, lings to the main. My bad. So I'm just taking a little bit of pepper in the main base right now, running back to defend that. But he's left enough here at the third, so Jim's not going to actually catch this off guard.
Good idea.
Yeah,
what's that?
Soaking up a lot of hits over here for Hendralisk.
Yeah, okay, there you go. Hendralisk finally pulling those links back in the main that had gone back to defense. So as he brings these back into the fight, that's his cannon fodder, that's his extra DPS coming into this, and they'll get the surround. Probably not for kills more so, that hold the roaches in position might be the best choice, but either way, Hendralisk's supply at this point, 72 over 64. Defenders the position, maybe. Jimrising holds it home, maybe, but that's not going to be easy. And he did not kill that third. The whole goal of this attack, the whole goal of this game. I mean, this is his last life. There's no losers bracket at this point, and he doesn't want to finish fourth. He wants to finish third. And at this rate, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, there's no actual prize money for that third place. Or sorry, for the fourth place if you don't manage to do it. He's trying to make the big hold over here, but as you were saying, he didn't really kill off Hendralisk's third. He's not really mining from his own third either, so even if he defends over here, he's still got a long way to go, but that defense is looking really grim right now.
Well, I guess that's about to be it. If he can't break the third, he can certainly just take down or if he can't break the natural, he can take down the third. Waiting for an upgrade, maybe? Jimrising could bank on that +2 missile attack. No, attacking without it.
I don't think the upgrades will save him in most cases, but Hendralisk actually gets swamped yet again. Difference is, though, he's still got lings actively around the map, still poking around. Jimrising's worker count's been down for quite some time. I mean, for Hendralisk's sake, I would say, like, get on that upgrade train, but he could also just go for, like, a max roach composition and try to just bully his opponent to submission.
Yeah. I mean, the army supply is really not... Unfortunately, you don't have things like tanks in ZVZ as you would in TVT, so a 10 army supply is still a pretty big deal, but it's always, the defender's advantage kind of makes up for that too, so that's why we haven't really seen Hendralisk use that kill move. He could just take a fourth and max out a lot faster than Jimrising, stop these little trades, and he will definitely win. He has yet to actually take a fight where it's like, oh no, he's starting to lose. He's trading, and eventually he will win, but it is taking longer than maybe we expected. Looks like a Ling counterattack might be able to get the third this time for Hendralisk, that is. He saw the army move out.
Yeah, that's what he's waiting for, too. Lots of links flooding once again towards the main. Hendralisk as well. Oh, my God. This is making me so angry.
Just make a spine crawler there.
Well, not like that, but it's like for someone who was concerned about losing a game to a circling run by, like, I can't believe he would let this happen again. But drones pulled into the natural base. Roaches are coming out a couple at a time to try and hold. Drones might need to be pulled over to that third. In the meantime, what's going on with these lings? ADD might go for the queen kills. Never took that third down for Jimrising.
Oh, that's weird. Why didn't they? Well, that was their choice, and they made it. Didn't even get the queen.
Whole position, the ling's not going to kill too many more. So Jim gets a couple of circling kills here, but I mean, really, this wasn't anything too devastating.
Oh.
I mean,
I see what he did. He killed all the drones at the third and then left. I think he could have also gotten the third, but now it's 12 drone kills to 13. Jimrising still down by 8. A few more pop out.
yeah.
All things said and done, Jimrising is kind of hanging in there, right? Like, yeah, he's still behind. And he still has a ways to actually make it back, but I mean, he's only down a little bit of supply. I could theoretically see him, like, if he can take 1 or 2 really solid engagements, I feel like he can actually even up.
He would have to, like, you know, again, split up Hendralisk in some way, catch Hendralisk like not moving for 2 seconds or something like that. Maybe this concave on top of the ramp with his upgrade lead can be enough, especially if he gets a couple of queens in there. And in fact, Hendralisk is still too scared to move up there. Jimrising could come back from a 20 supply deficit. I think it does come to a point where Hendralisk probably should have been maxed, you know, if he had not been continuously trading, but...
Continuously trading poorly, I think so.
Yeah. Just a little poorly, though. It wasn't actually, like, you know, 20, which is 5 or anything, but...
Yeah, I think, well, as we see Brotech putting up here for Jim, it's going to give him a nice little way to wiggle around, but I mean... It's not like drilling claws or anything, right?
Yeah. I was waiting for Hendralisk to max out, and I guess with the supply, I guess, was holding him back. So 6 overloads pop and immediately gets maxed out. So now it's a roughly 30 supply lead. The upgrades are more even, only +1 carapace. Jimrising, I like the idea of taking a gold, try and get back in. Obviously not able to.
Yeah, cancels it before Hendralisk even sees it. This might let him sneak it back in later, but man, that unit counting station right now, Zombie Grub 60, well, I guess, and Fear Dragon, 63 roaches over 51. Level 2 upgrades versus level 2 1. This is gonna be a hard hold.
A queen, a spine crawler, like, oh man, if there's like 2 spine crawlers.
Yeah.
This actually might go.
Those upgrades still favoring Jimrising a little bit, maybe with some reinforcements to come in. Oh, corruption going down, and it's gonna be it.